Well, the National Cathedral is definitely a topic or a subject that has a lot of people talking over the past year or so. There seems to be a for or against thing, with arguments being raised about whether it was important to do it, if the money could be used for other stuff, so many questions, and it's definitely left us divided. Well, this morning we're answering a lot of your questions because Reverend Victor Kusi-Boateng, who's a member secretary, Board of Trustees for the National Cathedral, is joining us this morning for a conversation. He'll be answering my questions and your questions as well. And I think most importantly, we want to know how it's going and if ultimately, now that the decision has been made, looking back, if it was a good one. So we're getting into that. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you, my sister.
I've been looking forward to this interview because I met you for the first time about 15 years ago. Yeah, yes, in London. I picked you up from the airport. You were coming to Action.
Wow.
And yes, we had a great conversation. You said a lot of things into my life, which have all come to pass. Wow. And every time I look at my daughter, I remember you, because you spoke about her. She wasn't born yet.
Wow.
Yes, and every time things get difficult, there's one line that you said to me that I never quite forgot. So I guess I get the opportunity this morning to say thank you for that.
That's quite humbling. That's quite humbling.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's not going to make me any softer. I'm still going to try and ask you all the hard questions.
No. I didn't come for softer questions. Okay. I just came for clarity.
For clarity, awesome.
Yes, it might look quite a rigorous question, but it will bring out
a lot of
answer.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So the National Cathedral, Ghanaians are still divided on whether it's an important thing to do or whether it's not. And maybe you could just go through for us again why it's so important for us, in your viewpoint, why we should have a national place of worship when we have so many churches around anyway.
Thank you very much. But for those who are not on the ground, they will say Ghanaians are divided. But for those of us who have gone to all the 16 regions and to almost every district capital, know that I am optimistic because I've met almost every pastor, I've met almost every church, and people who are excited about this are more than those who are opposing it.
Okay.
The fact that somebody writes an article or comes on air to say bad things about the cathedral doesn't make it bad. It doesn't mean that the whole nation is divided. I can say on authority that the nation is not divided. A clear example is the offer of the chief imam to even give us 50,000 Ghana cedis. It means that the nation is not divided. The fact that the Jewish community can bring us something, 1 million Ghana cedis to push the building of the National Cathedral means that internationally we've gained recognition. The mere fact that the Indian community, which of course is a Buddhist community, who come and give us money to support the National Cathedral is an indication that this particular venture is not a bad one. In these times, I know the times are difficult, but times have never been easy in Ghana. I quite remember when they were building the arts center, the art center that is close to the National Theatre. A lot of people fought against it. I'm here. I've never been there, but we built it with the national money, and yet there were people that were sitting under trees. We built the International Conference Center whilst poverty was still in here. We're still paying our national coaches 40, 50, 60,000, 100,000 a month, and we are still having people under trees learning. We still fly millions of dollars to our national team, and still people are still learning on the trees. And so wherever you go, there are challenges, but you try to implement things that will try to reduce the challenges that you have. And I think that the building of the National Cathedral is one of the best ideas that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo preempted and started. It's not just a place of worship, as people think. It's a church. You remember when His Excellency, former President Rawlings died. Look at where he was laid in state, at the State House. Open air. If there was rain, what will have happened? Because we don't have any facility in Ghana that can take out to more than 1,400. The only facility is the International Conference Center. When our presidents are swearing in at the Independence Square, open air, you can imagine if there is rain or how hot the sun has been, how uncomfortable it is. Look at the whole problem of Asumdue Park. Because we don't have a place to bury presidents, and the National Cathedral is going to take on all these. So it means that it's not just a national cathedral for churches to just come and gather. Yes, number one, it is to say thank you to the Lord for preserving us from all the civil wars that have gone on with all the countries around us, except Ghana. Even with the COVID, for how good the Lord has been to us. If we are building a cathedral to say thank you to the Lord, I don't think that would have been wrong. But the interesting thing is that the original plan was to build a national cathedral to say thank you. But by virtue of the kind of materials the president put on the table, people like Apostle Pokunyina, who is our chairman, Archbishop Palmer Bakal, Archbishop Duncan Williams, Bishop Dakib Hayward Mills, Professor Frimpong Manson, Archbishop Akrofi, Right Reverend Awotwe Pratt. All these people are accomplished leaders from all different kinds of denominations. And so for the first time, we've had people come together. And remember that Christians are over 70% of our national population. And so for the first time, we've had every single denomination coming on board for us to build this national cathedral. And so it is not just another church building. It is a monument that's about to be built. And CNN has reported that if we are able to build this national cathedral, it will be one of the most iconic cathedrals in the whole wide world. And so this is not money being wasted. If you look at the cost-benefit analysis as we go on, it will amaze you what this venture is going to bring for the nation Ghana. It's a game changer for the tourism industry.
Okay, so that means that we are almost positioning this, apart from a thank you to God, it's a place for Christians to meet, it's a place for national gatherings, like, you know, like you
national
said,
funeral.
National funeral. Then it's also a place of tourism. I'm guessing like the Vatican, as we're kind of projecting that it will be something like how people travel to Italy to see.
No, they're not trying.
Yeah. Okay.
Paris.
Or that one. Okay. Do you think that? Well, I mean, I'm sure that you would, but if you look at it from the other points, and this is the argument from other people, is that there's so many other things that we could use the money for. So many other things.
There are so many other things we can use monies for football for. But as a football-loving nation, we channel those monies.
Maybe not as much.
Do you want me to tell you how much it costs and how much the government has given to us? Go and check the budget of the Ministry of Sports alone. Muslims are our friends. We've lived in peace all these years, and for the past 30 years, the government, although there are challenges, have been able to support Muslims for 30 consecutive years to go to the Hajj. Are there no problems? That is why we are able to manage ourselves to send Muslims to the Hajj to come. There are always problems, and there is problem everywhere. But interestingly, this is not something that we are just throwing monies on, but it is something, as we talk, there are over 600 workers on site. By the first week of January, we are going to have 1,500 workers, and 95% of them will be Ghanaians. And so you consider the source of employment before and after the building of the cathedral. We are not just building a cathedral, yes. There are, if multimedia wants to have a program that will attract over like 5,000 people, there are no places. This is the first time the nation is having a place like this where you can hide. There are other places to rent.
So it will be open for rent?
Sure.
Okay.
It is an income generational facility.
Project.
It is not just a cathedral that you just come and admire. And for what we are doing, it will be mind-blowing. For CNN to say it will be one of the most iconic cathedrals. We are not just building a cathedral. We are also building a Bible museum. A lot of people don't even know that Jesus Christ was secured because of Africa. He would have been killed if not for Africa. Even here in Ghana, a lot of people don't know the businessman.
You say he would have been killed. He was killed.
He would have been killed before he died.
Okay.
And so, if you look at even Ghana, a lot of people don't know the businessman who came to colonize us and the missionary who came to empower us. My sister, I don't know where you went to school.
Rusty Girls.
I can imagine. It's a
mission
school. Yeah. Holy Child.
Yeah.
The church built it. If you look at Prempeh College, Adisada College, St. Mary's, St. Augustine's, Prempeh College, every first-class school was built by the Christian fraternity. So in event, if you look at the contribution of Christians to our society, even look at the number of people, the churches, right from the mainstream church to the individual churches below. If we are not employing more than the private sector may be just a few thousands over us. Because if you look at the people, the Church of Pentecost alone employs, the people that the Catholics employ, the people from clergy to drivers to janitors to administrators and all that. The Christian fraternity is the biggest constituency in this nation. And we are also, if we are the biggest constituency, it means that we pay the biggest taxes. And so if even the government was solely building this for the Christian fraternity, for the good things that they have done in this nation, look at our healthcare system. If not for recently, Christian healthcare systems were the best in this nation. And so Christianity has had so much impact. And although we are 70%, we thank God for the lives of our Muslim brothers and sisters, for the whole chief imam to support us. But you and I know that if monies are being channeled to Zongo Development Funds, it's going to empower Muslims, it's going to empower a lot of people. And so we should not just be short-sighted, thinking about how much is going to be put into this. We should rather do the cost-benefit analysis. Now, besides the cathedral, we are building the world's biggest Bible museum in terms of space and content. The biggest Bible museum in the world, which sees millions of people visiting it in Washington, D.C. I've been there a couple of times. The president who built it, when he heard Ghana was on this agenda, has now joined us and left Washington. And so we are not just going to build the biggest Bible museum, we are going to build the biggest and the most sophisticated Bible museum in the whole wide world. And not just that. We are building what we call the biblical gardens, where every fruit, you've heard of the sycamore tree, you've heard of the olive trees and all that.
Cedar of Lebanon, pomegranate.
Thank you. Every single thing will be planted in the Garden of Eden, in the biblical gardens. And then we are in consultation with the Jewish community. We are breaking a part of the Wailing Wall. And then we are going to build a Wailing Wall for the rock we are bringing in to authenticate it. So we are building a Wailing Wall and then a replica of the tomb.
And Ghanaians will have access to this?
Ghanaians will have access to it. People from the diaspora will have access to it. And the world will have access to it.
Complete access.
Complete
without
access.
Bureaucracy access.
I wonder if you really, really know the caliber of people that have been entrusted with such a venture. They are integral people. They are 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 people that have done so much in the past years that will not allow such a project to dent their image.
Okay.
And so for every single model, we are building it well so that Ghanaians and the people in diaspora will understand and say, if Ghana, an African nation, can do what has never been done in any other nation in the world, there are people with cathedrals, there are people with biblical gardens, there are people with Bible museum, but this is the first time a nation is bringing it all together at one place.
I was just going to ask you about the one place, because I'm listening to you and my mind is running in terms of, okay, if we're going to bring, all these plants, for example, we have the Brick Gardens, we have the Legon Botanical Gardens, we could put some of those there. And forgive me, I have to play the devil's advocate because I can't just agree with you on everything, otherwise it wouldn't be. I mean, some would say, okay, there's the Bible Museum. It sounds fantastic, but we have the National Science Museum. So we have that space already. It's not really being, utilized. So maybe we could have the Bible Museum there. We've had, judges' houses, brought down. We've cleared land. We've incurred costs. We're doing all of things. And then there's also the arguments fundamentally. And maybe this is more of a religious argument that we know that the Holy Spirit lives in us as human beings and perhaps doesn't dwell in a temple per se, even though the argument would be that when you walk into a church, for example, you feel that corporate anointing, you feel that, presence that comes from people worshiping together. But I mean, if you put all these, little arguments, against the beautiful arguments of, this is going to be amazing and it's a wonder and it's all of that. What is, for me, I mean, the question is, what is the real heart? And you mentioned that, we want to say thank you to God. And I'm asking myself, does God need a temple, to know that he is adored or that he is loved? Especially when, we've moved from perhaps Old Testament times to New Testament times and all of those things. And so what is the real heart? Because everything sounds really nice. It sounds very, very nice and very glorious, and you're so passionate about it. But what is the real heart, the real reason? What is it about this that is actually going to touch God in a way that will, and maybe this is something people are wondering, that will actually then translate into changed lives, a changed economy, a less corrupt government, leaders who care, hospitals that are built. Does this have the capacity to bring that kind of change? Or are we just doing it to really make ourselves feel good and say, look, we have a big cathedral, but we're still learning under trees. After all, the poor will still be with us. Sorry, my question is, but you get what I think.
I think you've asked like 20 questions in one
I'm
question.
sorry.
But I just want to reassure you that this is not the first time that any national construction is taking place that buildings are pulled down. It makes it sad when we make Ghanaians feel that some are better than the others. When we are building roads and people's houses are being pulled down, nobody comes to talk about it. And so when we are building a national monument and just about 4 houses were built in the 1990s. All the rest were old houses. Is it just because they are judges that we are making noise about? What about those whose houses were pulled down at Kaukudi? Who spoke about it? Is it because they are vulnerable and they don't have voices? I don't think it's fair. For every good thing that you do, obviously, whether it's a road or the construction of something of national interest, it is so obvious that facilities will come down. Because if you look at the benefits of what you are yet to do and look at the benefits of the existing structure, you realize that if you are able to pull it down and build what you want to build, the income generation aspect will supersede it and can build other places for the judges. And it is very, very unfortunate that the judges themselves never for once complained It is rather other people
Complaining on their
who
behalf.
were politicizing it, because there are three arms of government. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, and then we have the legislative. So you cannot underestimate the judiciary. The judiciary is an arm of government. So if indeed they had a problem, you and I should not be the ones fighting for the judiciary, because they are an arm of government. So they understand, because we sat down with them, we let them understand the concept of the project, and they said, wow, if this is what is going to happen on this land, we are ready to vacate it. Let it come down. And so you look at it and you realize, and my sister, it's not just talks. For where we are now, by the 6th of March 2024, we are dedicating the National Cathedral, we are dedicating the Bible Museum, and we are dedicating the Biblical Gardens. If you segregate it, the kind of a museum we are building, it's not the kind of the old-fashioned museum you used to know. Example, we are believing God, and I hope you have joined, that 1 million Ghanaians will support the cathedral 100 Ghana cedis every single month.
We saw that.
Now, how is it going to happen? When you do that, your name will be inscripted. And it will every single person, if you have, you will see your name when it is done. As you enter the cathedral, there is something like a desk, it's a computer. You just type your name, and your name will pop up and show you where you stand on the tree and the contribution you made to make that vision a reality. 1 million people on that. We are trusting God for about 2,000 people who will be on our wall of fame, and their names shall be written with gold, who are giving us 100,000 Ghana cedis a year, or more than 100,000 Ghana cedis a year. Some are paying it month, which is 8,200 Ghana cedis, and others have paid all their 3 years. Others are giving more. There are some who are giving us $1 million. There are some who are giving us $500,000, all Ghanaians. And so, and then we have also the intermediaries whose names will be written with silver on the walls. Those that will help us with 50,000 a year, 20,000 a year, 10,000 a year.
So those who want to give, how do they give?
They give by using our short code, star 979 hash. Star 979 hash.
Okay.
Star 979 hash. And as you look at me, I pray that you are typing it on your phone and joining the 1 million people.
Okay.
Star 979 hash. If you want to do more than 100 Ghana cedis, you can. Or if you go to any ADB bank, if you go to any Ghana commercial bank or any Fidelity bank, you are assured. And just tell them you are coming to donate towards the National Cathedral.
Okay, we've run out of time. I could do this for the next 1 hour, but maybe one last question. It's just a yes or no. Do you think that this makes God happy? Okay, well, you heard it. I didn't say it. Reverend Victor Kusi-Boateng, Member Secretary for Board of Trustees, National Cathedral. When we come back, we'll be talking to DBS. Don't go anywhere.